All right, I know there's a lot of people, or not a lot necessarily, but several people who haven't done as well as they would have liked to on this midterm exam. I want to offer you a way to earn some points back here. What I'd like you to do is that for each question you got wrong on the test, you need to explain to me why it's wrong. Not just say, well, because we don't do it that way, but to say, look, if you made a mistake, like, a simple example of something would be if you made a mistake that looked like you took the square root of x squared plus 9 and wrote it as x plus 3. Very common mistake people do. And then use that for something. um, you could say, look, clearly this isn't right, because if I plugged in a value of x, right, if x equals 1, then on this side I'm looking at the square root of 1 squared plus 9, which would be the square root of 10. But on the other side, plug a 1 in here, I'd say 1 plus 3, which is 4. I mean, is the square root of 10 equal to 4, right? No. So clearly this expression cannot be that expression, because it gives you different values when you plug in, one particular value of x. You could also look at it and say, oh, look at the graph of this thing. If you look at y equals x plus 3, the graph is, a line. But if you look at the graph of y equals the square root of x squared plus 9, and you can, use your graphing calculator and see what these look like. It looks like, this curved thing. Clearly, those two functions are not the same. Their graphs are different. So, not just say, hey, this was wrong. It's like, why is it wrong? Convince me that you wouldn't ever make this mistake in the future because you've analyzed it well enough. You've looked at it and say, can I do this? Can I just take the square root and break it up like that? No, you can't, because of this, because of that, and that you work through that kind of thinking um, to convince yourself why it's wrong. Once you've convinced me that you know why it's wrong, then convince me that you know why we do it the way we do it to solve the particular problem. Um, and I don't want to just see a correct solution. I mean, although I do want to see you work the problem correctly, I want you to explain to me, write down stuff. You're writing a paper for me, an essay. Each problem you're writing, talking about why it's wrong, talking about how we do it correctly and why we do it correctly. I need you to convince me you understand the stuff. More than just writing a correct solution. I need an explanation. Okay. So some of you only got a couple of them wrong, so that you don't have a lot of points to get back, but you wouldn't have as much to do. Some of you lost a lot of, got a lot of them wrong, and so there's a fair amount of work here to go through each question. But if you do go through each question, you write a paper. There's a link that will appear in week 6, which is when we took the midterm. You submit your paper through that link. I will read it. If I'm convinced that you understand the material, then I'll give you back half the points to a perfect score on the midterm. So if you ended up with a 60 out of 100, then I will give, so you lost 40 points, I'll give you back 20. So it'll bring you up to an 80. Okay. You've got to convince me, though. I don't give extra credit lightly. But in a class like this, where it's just, the high stakes midterm and the high stakes final, then at least for the midterm, I have the opportunity to give you an alternate way of showing me that you know how to do this stuff, because that's what I want to see. I want to see that you understand these concepts from trig, that you can work with them, you can solve problems with them. Okay. Anyway, the due date for this is listed on the link for submission on the website. Anyway, I think it's about a week from today. So, there you go. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or message me through WAMAP, and I'll be happy to work with you.